God damn it.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. Take the truth. No, set you free.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Face the Truth. I know it's been a long ass time. Things changed. Deal with it. Okay. Stop writing me and stop writing my mom. Okay. It's not cool. Anyways, hey, I'm really excited to come back and have a great talk with this guy. I love his painting so much. He's one of a few artists out there that whenever I see one of his posts, I have to like zoom in and I have to spend some time looking at it. I love his work so much. Amazing brush work. He's used of color and so on. And we're going to get into showing some of his work later on. But anyways, enough with the formalities. Everyone, please welcome Hollis Dunlap. The one and only. And I apologize. I know I sound weird. I'm not feeling good.
Oh, it's okay. I had a crazy morning myself. You know what? Like that's actually makes two of us, so we're good.
Okay. Yeah, everyone in the house is sick right now. It's not cool. You know, it's crazy though. Like so, the other day, for Tuesday, I was not feeling well, and I was just like kind of just chill laying down, and I have like a Mad Magazine cover I'm supposed to be working on right now.
Wow.
But I was like, I can't work, you know. But then Wednesday I felt great, and I worked all day, and then I went to do stand up Wednesday night, and just before I'm about to go on stage, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna shit my pants. Like I felt so sick, dude.
That's an okay act. I mean, that could be.
Oh, dude, I got up there on stage. And I did okay, but I know I didn't do my best because
other than the shitting your pants part.
I thought it was gonna happen. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like, and then I found out my daughter was home throwing up, and so as soon as I got off stage, I like had to leave. Anyways, how have you been?
I'm all right. Like I mean, I'm kind of like always the same. Like mentally, I'm really good one day. Then the next day, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? But I mean, I'm working now, which is nice. I have a semi-real job for once, like, which I'm fortunate to have at the art school here. I just started doing that.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is good just for it organizes things.
Yeah.
And we have a really great group of people there. I mean, it's very small, but it's a small school, but it's nice just to be doing that like 3 days a week. So I still have time to paint here.
Yeah.
Like over the summer, I had a crazy summer. I was away in Europe for almost the whole summer for a little over 2 months, which was really great, but really exhausting.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. But I'm glad
the pictures were amazing, by the way.
Oh, cool.
I
took a
lot. Like, God damn. Oh, I was getting jealous,
man. You should come and join us one of these days. I know you have a lot of people in your life that are. See, I don't, so I can just go whenever.
Yeah.
But it does still. I mean, it's funny because like literally every year the same thing happens. I'm like, this is too much. I have to pull back and just stay home for a summer, and then I'm like, no, I think I want to go back and do it again. So I'm going to keep probably doing it until people stop taking my classes, you know, and I'm not like.
And where were you exactly? You were in Italy, right? In Spain?
I was in Italy for about 6 weeks, and then I was in the UK for another like 3. Yeah, which is a nice thing because like you're in Italy and it's beautiful. It's a certain way, but it's also like 100 degrees.
Yeah.
So then you go up to the UK, and the heat wave was over by that point, so it was like 75 degrees.
Oh, nice.
So like perfect to just kind of chill. Although it was a draining. It was exhausting. Like all the traveling and teaching and basically just, you know, you have to show up for people even if you don't feel your best.
Mm.
And like,
Yeah.
so that was, you know, and I'm sure it's like that, like, and it's funny because I was teaching a lot more then because that was 5 days a week. And then even on the weekends there's lots of stuff going on. So you have to you're going all the time.
Mm.
And here I have like, I work a few days, then I can just, you know, sit around if I want, you
Yeah.
know, which is cool, but it's also not great for getting things done. Like I have to push myself to start new paintings
Mm.
and all that stuff.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's a
I mean, you have deadline. I mean, you have crazy deadlines. I mean, I read
yeah.
some of the stuff that you write. I got to do this by tomorrow, and I'm like, I don't know if I could do it. It's like you've got to have a skill level to get to that point.
Well, you know what's weird is I I don't really have the time. Like I have paintings that I've started that I haven't gotten to finish for a long time, and I gotta just like set some time for myself just to work on those because it's hard for me because I'm doing like deadlines all the time. I don't really feel like drawing or painting like sometimes after because I'm so like last week I had I'm starting to work for this magazine called The Week. And they're gonna have me as a regular, I think, like every other week or something like that. But it's really crazy because they give you the assignment Monday morning and the finals due by Wednesday noon. And it's a full it could have like like the last one had like tons of people in it, and characters and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a marathon. And then that Thursday I got another spot illustration late Wednesday night, and it was due end of day Thursday. So I had to get up at 6 a.m. Thursday and by 5 that night finish a full illustration. And it was crazy. But like when I'm done with that, I don't want to do anything. Like, you know, like I just want to like have some wine and chill out. And
yeah,
you know, when I was younger, I would just sketch all the time, like on my free time.
yes,
It's like, and I still love to do that, but I now have 2 toddlers too. So it's just like,
right. Oh no, you're dealing with a lot. I mean, it's actually commendable that you're getting as much done as you are, really, because I complain a lot. The people that know me will you know, vouch for that. Like I complain, but it's kind of like, you know, someone said like it's like the more you do, which is definitely true. Like I you know, but I mean, it's funny. Like I think you have a working method that works for you. I'm still very kind of rough around the edges with like my schedule. Like when I paint here, or if I have a model here, you know, I just I'm a little bit random, which is not the best thing for like I tend to work in spurts where I get really excited about a painting and I'll work on it every day until like midnight.
yeah.
And then not do anything for 3 weeks and feel terrible. And then I'll start another one, you know, like it's not, but that's what happens when I also like, I'm not really doing any shows right now. So I don't really even have a schedule. So the teaching is good that I have that because it organizes me somewhat. So I'm really just kind of painting whatever I want.
Yeah.
And when it comes time to have a show, I'll try to organize it. I mean, I do have some ideas, but I haven't done the paintings yet. They're just kind of like in my head still.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the multi-figure things that you're doing. I mean, that stuff is impressive to me because I have trouble getting one figure in the right spot on a page. So
yeah, I mean, it's weird because I mean, the last cover I did for them was it was a Putin cover, and it's like a Putin kind of pointing forward, like an Uncle Sam type of a thing. And he's got it like this look like we're still going forward.
I think I saw that.
Yeah, but then everyone else, all his soldiers are like wounded and running backwards.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So I'm like, I have to do that in 2 days.
Yeah.
But the thing that helps, I think, I mean, here's the thing that for me personally, and I think you can relate to this, is I love doing caricature stuff, caricature illustration, more like I do realistic stuff as well. But there's something about the caricature stuff where it's just so much fun for me to explore the person's face. Yeah. And so they kind of gets me through it a little bit, like because I'm like, this is still fun. Like it's like I'm playing, I get to play more. So but then also there's this weird, like if I have like a long time to do something, it'll take me forever, it feels like, because like the deadlines, I'm like, no, I have to get this done. So it's like this marathon where, you know, I give myself a certain amount of time to do this guy, and then I'm like, okay, then I can do these background guys. I think I can do those in a few hours. The hard part is just doing the sketch, because you have to get the sketch approved really quick. So that's the hard part, is like, okay, I have to try to capture their idea of what they're thinking. And that can be that's the worst part, because you know, art directors, and editors, they have like this idea, and it's so weird sometimes, like how confusing it can be to finally land on the same page.
Yes.
Like, no, he needs to be looking, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Why would he do that?
Yeah.
But then eventually you just have to like, all right, and then you do it, and they're like, oh, that doesn't look right.
Yeah.
You're like, we're wasting time.
Yeah,
like,
that's amazing that you can. I mean, that requires a lot of patience. I've done that with like portrait paintings before, where I've been like, okay, I'll work with you, but it's like submitting like something that you put a lot of hours into, and then just having somebody be like, well, it's all right, but do you think you could totally change it? You know, or by tomorrow, you know, that's a little bit like, I'm lucky. I guess that's one of the reasons why I went into why I don't do many portraits, for example, because I can't,
like as commissions, that like that kind of
commissions. And like, I just don't usually like. First of all, I don't usually like the artwork that comes out of that. Even from really good portrait painters, they're usually not that interesting to me, because
no, I know.
usually so commercialized. Like caricatures are different. At least they're interesting, and I definitely would love to get better at that sort of thing. Because like getting a likeness in like the realist painting world is so important to people, and I talk about it all the time with people, because it's like, why is it so important? It's almost like that bit of like kind of playing you can do when you're gonna like exaggerate someone's nose or like whatever, is kind of more, that's actually closer to like Renaissance art. Like Leonardo da Vinci was an amazing caricaturist.
Oh yeah.
He would draw like funny looking people all the time, and like there's still some of those drawings, and they're so cool. And like he was a master of expression, and that's something like I always admired. I was like, caricaturists can really do that well. Like I always notice that when I see your covers, or I'm like, I can see how nuanced the expressions are.
Well, you know what's interesting too is I personally feel like I think one of the reasons I like caricature so much, and it's a weird art form, because, and this is nothing against people that work in carnivals and do that live stuff like that, because I know a lot of artists that do that are just incredible. They're really, really good. But there's this weird judgment from a lot of people and artists that, oh, there's just like this, you know, goofy carnival thing and whatever. And that's what they think of when they think of caricature. But like, I look at caricature as more of a fine art and more of a like, I mean, I take it seriously. Like I feel like a really good caricature captures a person better, more accurately, because there's a feeling. There's like more feeling that's there, and everyone that does it sees the person in their own way, and it's really like an impression, right? You're like trying to. And it's interesting because like when I was doing that Putin, I haven't drawn him for a long time. I did a couple drawings of him years ago, but I was like, as soon as I'm trying to find reference, you know, which Putin's going to be great, because tons of photos online.
Right.
And what I do is I think of the expression and the feeling in my mind, and then as soon as I see a reference, I'm like, oh, that's really close to what I was thinking.
There's a lot of material with him too.
Oh yeah. I mean, like you have to like, there's like a feeling, like there's like a certain look, and like I noticed things like his eyes look like they're tipping up and into each other a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And so I'm like,
it's not the most flattering look.
And so but what's interesting is I think it actually looks more like, when I was doing that painting, like I was like, this looks more like him than the reference I'm painting it from.
Yeah.
It's interesting because you're pushing these things that are unique, you know.
and you're not under the pressure to like be flattering, you know, and like with a portrait, or when you're doing a likeness, like you're painting a person in a portrait class, you're trying to kind of flatter them to an extent, you know, where like it's almost like with a caricature, you're allowed to portray anything, which is really important. Like a lot of portraits totally miss that, but that's not what clients want. They don't want you to like exaggerate their awkward features.
Yeah.
Like
it's hard. I've noticed too, like in the last few years, just you know, with all this woke stuff is going a little far. You know, it's just a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Have to really watch what you do now, right?
Yeah, it's like I've never in my entire career of doing caricature illustration been told I was a bully for drawing caricatures.
Oh yeah, I had someone. Yeah, totally. You're a bully. I had someone called me an ableist for like promoting painting from life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I prefer painting from life than doing it on Zoom. I'm not an ableist, but there is a certain amount of physical dexterity that is required to paint well from life. If you like doing that, that's a fact. You can argue with it, but I agree with you though. I think people are it's not so much that they're way too sensitive, because a lot of people are sensitive.
Yeah.
And I'm also sensitive to things, but I think that what I see is a lot of people that have the wrong answers to real problems. Like, like there may be a problem, but I don't think that, you know, like comedy is a really perfect example, man, you know, because I love watching good comedians, and some of them I can just tell when they're trying to be careful, and it ruins it.
Yeah, it takes you out of it. Yeah.
No, you need areas where you can say anything and it's out there, and that's always been you know, it goes back to like court jesters, like whose job it was to kind of make fun of like the royals, you know, like they were the only ones who were allowed to do it.
Yeah.
Because they knew it was so stuffy and like tense that they needed the release. Like, you know, I mean, you don't have to agree with someone, but I think that, you know, well, whatever. I mean, it's funny because even now, like when I tiptoe around things, knowing that things are in public, and I don't really like living that way, you know, and I basically what I've done is I don't hang out with anyone that I feel like I have to censor myself around.
Yeah, like walk on eggshells.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
That want to argue. And I'm just like, well, I don't want to argue with you. I just want to like, I'm comfortable with myself. I know that I'm not like a racist or an ableist or a sexist. You know, I know I'm not those things. That doesn't mean I think I'm, you know, I don't need to learn anything either. You know, but you know,
there's an artist, and I'll tell you after this. I'm sure you know that almost every time they post something under anything of mine, it's always to start a fight.
Oh, really?
It's always some kind of argument.
Yeah.
And it's just like, just shut up. Just shut up.
Yeah.
You're being ridiculous. Like, and then like even some things like I'll post as a joke or whatever, you know, and it's like I was clearly joking.
Like, yeah, man.
But it's just like
yeah, working in a school is like that too, where I'm very conscious of like, you know, how I treat people. And I really work hard to treat them the same, regardless of like their age or their skin color or their background or whatever it is. But I think there's a lot of pressure now to kind of, it's almost like you don't know whether you're supposed to treat people differently or not. And my feeling has always been, no, I'm going to try to treat people the same. That doesn't mean I don't consider things like if someone has like was from like an abusive background or something, and they were still, and it was hard for them, you know, like, of course I would think about those things. or but it's tricky though, because you want to grade, like when you're in the classical art thing, especially like atelier type places, it's very specific, and you have to treat people, you have to hold them to the same standard. To me, it's disrespectful if you don't.
Yeah.
But the fact is, there are certain, like, for example, some people are just physically stronger than other people. Let's take that. If you're trying to draw all day, like you're doing these things where you start your thing at 5 a.m. and you're done at 8 p.m. There's some people that physically couldn't handle that. It would be hard for them to like sit there and work on something for that long. So what do you say to that person? If they want to learn how to do that, you kind of, you want to be honest with them.
Yeah.
And say, this is what it takes.
Right.
But it's like, and that's the way I
it's crazy too, because I've had to do, because I teach as well, and I've had to answer that question. And I just have to say, you're not meant for this.
God, that's like, a tough one.
It's like, I think that you've got talent, but but I'm honest with them about it. I'm like, hey, you're really talented, but also, and this is not, I'm not trying to sound arrogant, but I'm honest with them about, illustration is a very competitive thing. And I think that you're really good, but I'm also doing this.
Yeah.
So like, you're going to be competing with me now. Like if you're going to try to get into this, and I will do everything I can to be the best that I can possibly be all the time, forever. And I'm going to continue to push myself. I'm going to learn new things, and I'm going to be very hard to be competitive with. But I'm not like an asshole to people. I'm just saying, like, I don't like to set people up for a disappointment. Like, like students that take my class and stuff, I try to tell them like, hey, it's really hard. Right. It's very difficult. It's stressful. It's frustrating. Just getting paid for stuff is frustrating. But yeah, it's funny what you were saying. It reminded me of something like, I was trying to think about a bit a while ago, about equality, and my thoughts on it. And I was like, and I actually performed it a couple times. But then I had to stop doing it because I heard this comedian that's more well known than me. I saw a clip of him, and it's so close to the same bit. And I'm like, God,
oh wow,
now I can't do it because he's way more known. Yeah. But basically, it was like, like I think it started off like saying something like men and women are not equal. We're not. I believe that women should be treated equally. All right. Equal respect, equal pay, everything equal in that way. But we're not equal. Equal means the same, and we're not the same. And it's okay. We're not. Like my wife, like one of my favorite things about my wife is that she doesn't have a dick. like I love that about her.
That helps. Yeah.
But so that was kind of like the gist of the idea. And then I saw this other comedian who almost had the exact same. It was so close. I'm like, gosh, dang. Because I really like the idea of that, because I do think that it's important in society. Like I do think that everyone's walking on eggshells all the time right now.
Oh, definitely now. Even now, it's funny. Even like, I don't like that I have to feel. I don't even like when that thought enters my head, like, oh, I've got to be careful what I say. Like, that's really fucked up. That it's like you can lose your job.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not like, I don't know how to say it. Like, I guess I have levels of like, intimacy in my life where I will, I like to be as much of myself as I can be, but naturally you don't just say anything to anyone. And,
oh yeah.
But I do have to wonder, like, am I censoring myself to a point that it's like soul killing? you know, or,
Yeah,
you know,
because you
or
don't
just-
have bad intentions to hurt people.
no, never,
You know,
never.
and that's the thing about when like for me when I do comedy, it's like there's like I'm just trying to make people laugh, and but you have to be like, oh wait, I don't know if I should say that. I have to, because then
Sometimes
this
they
and
won't laugh.
yeah, and but like the thing is I think that it's important, like I think that we should be celebrating people's differences, like
Mhm.
the fact that people look different or feel different or whatever. I don't think we should be walking on eggshells about that. I think that's what makes people unique and wonderful in the first place. Like it feels like society right now wants everybody just to meld into one
Kind of be the
thing,
same.
and that's just terrible.
I
Like
can't
I don't
tell
want to
what-
be like anybody else.
Yeah, I can't tell what people want. I would love it if I think that it seems like one thing they don't want. I don't know. I've seen signs of it, but maybe getting better. Like it seems like, you know, but I don't know. It can always get worse, especially like who knows what's going to happen with the whole like I mean, it's strange how all of it feels related to me. Like something about how there's this awful war going on is it fits with the whole thing about how like when there's chaos in one place, it's other things, bad things happen somewhere else, and it's just weird. And it seems like right now in the US it just feels like so much like everyone always has to win the argument. And like it feels like and they don't want you, like I recently got accused of, like I made a comment on something the other day, and someone was like, why don't you try going to China, buddy? Okay, Mr. Xi Jinping or whatever. And I was like, no, I think you misunderstood what I said. And then just and the day before that I was critical about something that Trump did, and someone was like, well, Biden called half the country Nazis. And I was like, well, I personally didn't vote for either Trump or Biden because I thought they both sucked, you know. But I definitely am not someone who thinks, for example, only one political party lies.
Exactly.
I see a lot of lies. And like whenever I hear about these misinformation boards or something, I'm like, well, who decides that? That always made me uncomfortable. And I'm just shocked at how many people think that, like, you know, we should have a like I just read this morning again about this Facebook whistleblower person. And it's like, so they want like a committee to basically decide. I never liked that. The one thing I do feel like, I trust the people of this country to make their own decisions. I don't want like a politician or a committee telling people what they should decide. I'm like, for example, I've got friends that are vaccinated. I've got friends that are not vaxxed. I do not give a shit whether you're vaccinated or not. If you're going to sit next to me on the bus, I do not care. And I never did. I got my vaccines, even though I wasn't totally comfortable with it. It was a little early for me, but I did it. I got 3 shots. I did it so I could travel, do my job. But I did think it was a little weird. The whole thing felt off to me. And I'm not bitter or angry at the people that weren't. I don't think they're all crazy Trumpers. And I don't even care if you are, but personally, the people that I know that didn't, for example, get vaccinated, most of them are pretty smart, kind of health conscious. Like there's a lot of yoga teachers out there that didn't want to get vaccinated. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah.
It's not like MAGA people.
No.
So I really don't like that. This kind of like need for people to just say, oh, for example, you're an anti-vaxxer. It's like, I don't like the vilification of other people. And like, I never was comfortable with that. And I don't understand how easily people slide into that. Maybe it seemed like it started with Trump, but I think it had started before that. I think it was naive of me, because what happened when Trump got elected, all of a sudden I was more worried about things, so I started paying attention to politics.
What were you worried about?
Like, yeah, 'cause, like when Obama was president, I know when when Obama was president, I didn't look at anything. I was just like, whatever, everything's great. You know, I don't
He
think
smokes cigarettes every once in a while. He's cool.
right. Like in hindsight, like I don't think everything was. I think I was a little bit just kind of naive, and like Trump definitely woke me up a little bit. He woke me up to a little more.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah.
Wiki.
I know. God. I can see. I totally get why people hate. I still think. I think I understand this, but I don't know. This is bad. I'm gonna get in trouble from this. Thanks a lot. I'm now gonna be canceled. But it's like I still think that there's like this misunderstanding as to why people like Trump. Like a lot of very smart people that I know can't stand him because I think he represents like stupidity to them and just everything materialistic about living. But what I want to say is that's not why people like him. They just want someone who's not a career politician. They're just
I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, people are just tired of like people that have been politics for 40 years. Like I would love it if the Democratic Party could come up with a viable like a candidate that wasn't a career politician, for example, or didn't radiate that. Like, because I just, I didn't hate Joe Biden. I just like thought that his time had come and gone,
Oh man.
And I don't know, whatever, but I don't know. I forgot how we got on this thing. It's just like divisive though. And and it all comes back to having to be careful what you say. That's how it happened because I'm so conscious of saying anything political. Like I never talk about it in my classes because you just don't want to agitate people. And
no, I do it. I do. We only have like 6 minutes left, by the way, just because of this is gonna
stop talking about Trump. Because
no, but it's okay. I mean, I think it's important because these are all things that are important to address and talk about because it's real. It's funny because I'm not really with my art and I'm not. For me personally, I'm not a person that's political. What I know is I don't like the left and I don't like the right. I think they're nuts. Like I have family members that are hardcore on both sides, and
me too.
And it's just like and it's all they talk about. It always comes up, and they always sound insane. And it's like,
I know
we need to be in the middle, and it doesn't exist. And one thing that I've gotten out of all of this is I really don't trust politicians or our government. I don't believe anything that Biden says or anybody says.
I think he's trying. I just think he forgets what he's talking about.
Yeah, I think dude, it's just I don't know. I just think that it's been like for example, they've had so many years to find somebody.
Right.
And we got Biden and
he was the best choice.
Yeah, he's just like the Walking Dead,
Yeah, well, he's actually a perfect candidate. Because I was thinking that too, but I was like, he's like the sum of all.
He's like the opposite,
the white politicians, and kind of like whatever. I know I don't know what.
Have you heard Dana Carvey do his? He does the best impersonation, where he basically says, my dad died. No joke. Hey, buddy.
Oh, man.
But I just love the way that he talks. But anyways, we only have a few minutes left of this session, so I wanted to ask you real quick. We're gonna do another podcast that's only going to be available for the next month or so on my Patreon, and we're gonna show his work up close, and we're gonna talk about his work. It's gonna be really awesome. But real quick, before we end this one, I wanted to ask you earlier. Before you just started going on about Trump and shit. Now I wanted to ask you, like, when you do a painting with the models, you said that the models come in. Do you work in a way where you have an idea of something already and then you have a model come in, or do you have a model come in and then you sketch and you work on ideas and then ideas come at that point?
Yeah.
I was just curious how you do that.
Yeah, it's a little of both. Sorry I went on a tangent.
It's fine, dude. No, this is good. It's a fun talk.
But it's a little of both. Like sometimes I have an idea. Like right now I've got a couple ideas that I'm trying to like formulate into some paintings. If if I'm working from life, I usually just get a pose that the person can do, and I try to. Then I work on that as I go, and sometimes I change it. You know, like I also like to work from photos, although I don't love it as much. It allows you to do some things that maybe you can't do from life. Although lately I've been wanting to get away from it, but I usually, like right now, I've got a couple paintings going that are kind of just random poses, and a couple others, I guess I could show them to you, that are more planned out, where I had like an idea that and that kind of comes and goes. Like I go through like times where I have no ideas, and then they come back to me and I get a few. And over the summer, I was just painting a lot right from the model, where I would just find a pose that they could do for long enough. And it's not conceptual, really. It's more just about, there's a little bit of concept to it, only that I'm trying to do kind of realist paintings with some kind of abstract elements that I really like. But I really just like also doing simple paintings where I'm rendering and there's no storyline. I like doing both. Like I love doing just figure paintings. But I'll show you a few more that maybe are more experimental.
Okay. Awesome.
I have a sketchbook where I draw little sketches. That's like the idea in my head for a pose. And then I try to get the model to sort of do that. So I do that occasionally also.
Cool. All right. Well, that's a good way to end this episode. And like I said, we're gonna do another one for the Patreon. So everyone hop on over there to see it, because it's gonna be really cool. Real quick though, where can people find you online so they can check you out?
Yeah, well, you can go to my Instagram, which is just my name, Hollis Dunlap. So you find me on there. I usually put up my new paintings there. Go to my website if you want. I don't have like a YouTube channel or anything.
Do you have like an OnlyFans or anything like that?
I don't have anything really.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm really like, maybe I should do that. I should do that. Go to my TikTok now. I don't have TikTok. I have Facebook. I put most of my new paintings on my Instagram, or you can go to my website or see some new paintings there. And I teach classes and workshops all over the place. So, I mean, I teach here in Connecticut at the Lime Academy, but I also do workshops internationally, usually during the summer, if anybody ever wants to come and paint.
Awesome.
Come to Italy and paint with us.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That doesn't sound fun at all. All right. Thanks so much, man. And to everyone else, we'll see you soon, hopefully.